Nigerian defense has reacted over the legal matter and allegation regarding the trial of ex-seaman Abbas Haruna M5759, who was found guilty of 3-count charge. As the Director of Defense Information, Brigadier General Toko Gusau, disclosed that Abbas Haruna has disobeyed particular order and offense in relation to public and service property, contrary to Armed Forces Act 2024. Speaking during a press briefing held at the Defense Headquarters in Abuja, Brigadier General Gusau disclosed that the ex-seaman disobeyed his CO and resisted arrest by firing 16 rounds of 7.62 mm that could have caused the death of his colleagues. However, Brigadier General Toko tendered the visual evidence of the ex-seaman trial and how he pleaded guilty of the charge against him and other related issues.
Intimate you that the case involving ex-seaman Abbas Haruna started when he was found misbehaving during a parade. Specifically, the X-rating was part of the parade during a coordinating conference of the commanding officer when he was addressing troops of exercise Ayam Akpatuma, preparing for an operation. While the commanding officer was addressing the troops, the X-rating continuously interrupted the address, which warranted the commanding officer to direct him to report to the guard room. However, the rating refused to obey the order. Thus, the commanding officer directed his arrest, but the X-rating resisted and instead expanded 16 rounds of ammunition belonging to the Nigerian Navy, with the aim of preventing other soldiers from taking him into custody. Consequently, investigation was conducted and the X-rating was recommended to be tried by court-martial. The X-rating was eventually tried by a general court-martial from 20th December 2022 to 7th February 2023. Notably, the trial of ex-seaman Abbas Haruna by the General Court-Martial was based on the authority that as serving personnel, he was subject to military laws. Ex-seaman Abbas Haruna was arraigned before the General Court-Martial on 3-count charges of disobedience to particular orders, resistance to arrest, and offenses in relation to public service property, contrary to Section 56, subsection 1, Section 86, subsection 1, and Section 66, subsection C of the Armed Forces Act, CAF A20 Laws of the Federation 2004. At the trial, the General Court-Martial deliberated on the testimonies of the prosecution and defense witnesses, as well as the exhibits tendered by the prosecution surrounding the circumstances of the case. It is therefore important to note that the X-rating pleaded guilty to all charges during the trial. The General Court-Martial therefore considered the nature of the offense committed by the X-rating, his plea of guilty and plea in mitigation of punishment, as well as the legal advice of the judge advocate in arriving at its verdict. Accordingly, at the conclusion of proceedings, the General Court-Martial found ex-seaman Abbas Haruna guilty on all counts. Based on this, he was sentenced to reduction in rank from seaman to ordinary seaman on count 1, and dismissal with ignominy on counts 2 and 3 with effect from 7th February 2023. Thereafter, the X-rating was placed on open arrest at the arrival hall in Mogadishu Cantonment, pending confirmation of the sentencing by the appropriate superior authority. Importantly, a perusal of the report of the prosecution confirmed that the accused rating disobeyed the order of his commanding officer and resisted arrest by firing his rifle to the extent that he expanded 16 rounds of ammunition, which could have resulted in the death of any of his colleagues around there. The action of the X-rating was in no doubt an act of gross indiscipline, capable of taking the lives of his colleagues. It is therefore evident that the X-rating cannot be trusted with a rifle or any weapon belonging to the armed forces of Nigeria. This is because soldiers, ratings, and aircraftmen are trained for the purpose of weapon handling to apply SEM judiciously and diligently when called upon for the protection of the sovereignty of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and not extraneous uses which could endanger others. Pertinently, it is opined that the X-rating ought to have also been charged for attempted murder of everyone that was in the vicinity when he fired the shots. Notwithstanding, he was appropriately charged, tried, found guilty, and sentenced on 3-count charges presented before the General Court-Martial. Furthermore, the confirming authority rightly confirmed the findings and sentencing in line with the Armed Forces Act.
Atonda Babatunde, GTV Africa.